I'm like on my last bite of my sandwich. I was like,
Hello.
turn the camera off. And I was like, I can eat this and no one has to see me scarfing it down. So I will be
Hi,
on just
Anita. Anita says, hello, my friends. What's up? Loving the intro. I was
that's an
too
old
busy trying
one.
to send out messages, so I didn't even see what intro you used.
Season 4. If you remember that
Oh,
one.
I don't. I
We
just act like I do.
yeah. You remember.
Which one was it? What did it say?
It's the one where it's like we're going down this rabbit hole of the social and distancing show and join us. It was an old
Oh,
one. There's a guy who's about to do a bungee jump, or a girl. Yeah. You remember, like I
I
said.
don't remember. You're not seeing me, so I'm just mouthing to people. I don't see
Oh.
it. So I think we're having some technical difficulties on
Mhm.
Facebook because I don't see it up there. So I just text it to everybody.
Okay. I'll post up the YouTube link on Facebook real quick too.
Yeah, that'll be good because
Okay.
I did not do that.
There
So
we go.
welcome everybody. How was everybody's day? How's your this is your midweek. How's everybody doing midweek? Are we
Yes, tell
surviving?
us.
Do we think we're gonna make it?
You know, I was having a question or a conversation about this with someone about how um the end of the world and stuff like that, right? And I was just like, well, if it happens, it happens. Might as well just let it go. Let it happen.
Just be right with the Lord.
That's what I
Just be
say.
right with the Lord. That's all we
Someone
gotta
was
say.
like, well, we don't
Every
even
day you
have,
gotta be right. But
yeah. You know, let's just go on that for just a second, real quick.
sure.
You, not you, but you know, people, there's always stuff going on, right? And sometimes a less wise or educated or informed person says things that they don't really understand. What I mean is like the whole grass is greener on the other side conversation, for example, right?
Okay.
It's like we're so quick. Sometimes we can be very quick to just think that things are so bad in the squares that we are in that if we just went to another square, it'd be so much better, right? Like, like,
There's that mentality, yes.
like, let's even drive it home further. Like kids, for example, right? Like kids sometimes think, I can't wait to get out of the house. I can't wait till I move out. I can't wait till I can get a job. And I
I
think it's
mean,
all
we
just
were once those kids. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. And everything's gonna be fine and dandy, right, Sandy? And then they get over there and they're kind of like, shoot.
Yeah.
Like,
So I've always said this.
what? Tell me.
If we were to each throw our problems in a pile and you had a preview to everybody else's problems, I promise you, you would pick your problems right back up.
Yes.
Because
That is
we always think
wise,
we're going
Sandy.
through things, but there
Hmm.
are some people that are going through a lot more things than we probably ever will be.
Yes. And
The grass is
grind.
not always greener on the other side.
No, 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 no. And but
And if it is, it's maybe fake grass.
that astroturf stuff.
That
Anyway,
astro, yeah.
yeah, not
Oh, who
anyway.
is this? Jamie and Sandy,
Leafs.
how are
This is
you
one of your
both?
fans, Sandy. He's one of
Hello,
the reasons why this
fans.
is for him. He doesn't see the social and distancing show. He sees Everybody Loves Sandy featuring or
Oh,
starring or
yes.
whatever guest star the
Welcome.
social and distancing show.
Welcome,
So
welcome. And he says he
now
has artificial grass.
there's
And
nothing wrong,
listen, nothing wrong with artificial
yeah, you
grass.
ain't got to mow anything
But
or water all year.
but those of us that have real grass, we will never know what it is to have
Fake grass.
your grass. We
So
will always be jelly of your grass.
yes.
We
So
live like
no
that.
one really they just don't get it sometimes, right? And there's not enough words in the world that can help people understand the other side, I think, right? Like you think of you have to experience life in someone else's shoes to really grasp the depth of what's going on over there, you know? And
Mhm.
so it's so
Did I freeze or did you freeze? Because you were really going somewhere with that. I felt it. Leap. Welcome to the show. Anita, welcome to the show. I'm not really sure if I'm frozen or if he's frozen. Testing. Can somebody tell me if I'm speaking or if he's speaking? Because I have no idea. Oh, okay. So it's just him. It's not me, right?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. I was like really worried that maybe it was me.
No, no, it's never you. It's always me. Um,
Well, Starlink, like
oh,
last night
that's
we
right.
had
That's right. I
storms.
forgot. I forgot.
We had storms last night, so I'm just like, ooh,
Right.
yeah,
So
I
I
can
I
hear
just
you.
okay, good.
You're perfect, Sandy. I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. Thank
Let's
you.
put a star on that one, okay?
Please do pin that.
Um, yeah, but I just honestly, I just think, and there are some people who have those, like when you say thrown into the proverbial pot, that they see other people's problems and maybe they don't want to pick theirs. And I feel like that is an outlier, though. Those people are the outliers, right? Those are the ones, not everybody has those big problems like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I don't want your problems, but I wish I could help that so you didn't have those big problems. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is just stuff that
What
was
made
on
are
my.
you okay? What made you think of this? Now I'm worried about
Like I
you.
said, I was privy to people's stories this week and
Okay.
hearing how different people are struggling with different things, but they're all centered around this idea that life is challenging to them right now, and if they could just have it a different way, it'd be better, right?
Mm,
But some of them, when I step back and since I'm the hearer, right, I can
yeah.
see the problems that they're talking about across the board. I'm like, and it's kind of like what you're saying. So, like, I would be the proverbial pot here, and I could be like, I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You're having it tough, but you don't know what these people over here, these guys over here, like, that's tough, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
vice versa. It's like, I hear what you're saying in that, but this guy over here is dealing with this issue in this area, right? So it's not like they're all dealing
And the
with the
thing about
same
it
issue.
is we all do pretty good. Most of us do really good at masking our problems. So
Yes.
yeah, so you can see like, hey man, Sandy's got it together. Sandy sometimes doesn't have it together, you know? And that's the thing
That's
is like social media has helped
it
it to
helps make that
where
thick. It helps make that mask even thicker.
it's a filter. It's
Mhm.
all a filter. And I'm so glad that you said that because last week I was fed a reel and I've come to enjoy this guy's reels. I was on Facebook and the guy's name is John Dorsey. And so
Heard that name from somewhere.
I shared you some of his reels. He's
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
guy that calls out all these perfect bodied people that are going to great lengths to what he calls snatch their waist. So you have people that are in shape. They're, I mean, in great shape, but they're still editing their photos and their videos to be smaller waisted, bigger butt, bigger muscles. And we're living in a world where body dysmorphia is real. I
Mhm.
mean, even I can get caught up on that because, typically it's the younger girls and stuff like that. But even I can get caught up like, man, I wish I kind of looked like that. But
Right.
I also don't want to eat rice and chicken every day either and
Yeah.
count my macros and whatever else it is that these bodybuilding people do. But John Dorsey, check him out. And he's calling out all these people. I feel like, and the reason I shared it with Jamie is he's got two girls. And I don't know how impressionable your girls are. I just know based on my friends and their children, kids are so impressionable. So here you have these model bodies, and this guy share it with your kids and just let them know, like, hey, look. And he shows you like how they do it. So, like, there's like a video where the girl's like lifting weights, and man, she's got the huge booty and the thin little waist. And then he like zooms in and all the lines are crooked. And you can
Mm.
just see like everything's bending. Why? Because she's having everything bent and made bigger and smaller to enhance her image. And I'm just like, And then this is what gets on my nerves too, is there's always like some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of Bible verse or some sort of tacky cliche of,
Mhm.
oh, love yourself and blah blah blah. This is why. This is why I can't stand you people.
I
This is
have
why
so
it's all fake.
there's a community I'm a part of, right? And it's not just this community, but actually it's just my character in general. So I see people who get discouraged, and rightfully so. It's a learning community, so there's people taking tests and exams and all that kind of stuff, right? And so people get beat when they're like, man, I've taken this exam X amount of times and I'm still failing it. Like it's like, and and it's like, man. And then I always see a bunch of people who tell them, um dust it off, get up again, and just keep pounding, and I can appreciate that because I know that the heart is genuine. They're really trying to be helpful. I try to be a little bit more practical, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, look, I know how I feel. And I know when I hear those things, it doesn't really help out. Sometimes I just need to stay on the ground for a minute and then I'll get back up. I'm not a quitter, right? But sometimes I just need a little time to
Okay.
myself or a break and just be like, hit the floor or be upset or whatever that is and be like, fine, late sleep on the floor even. And then the next day when I wake up, I can get up and then I can get back and hit the grind again.
So, when I rolled my ankle, Eric was like, Sandy, are you okay? And I was like, shut up. Quit asking me if I'm okay. Because, it was just making me so
Get you
mad.
more.
I just needed to be in pain and I needed to hold on to that fence and I needed to let all that pain just radiate because it just made it more painful asking, Sandy, are you
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Poor guy. He didn't
Hey,
deserve
Chon,
that.
thanks for joining us. I'm
Hey,
so
John.
glad your angry little faces are here.
Yeah, they got to
I
show up
sent it to
somehow.
Chon too, because I was worried that he wasn't
Yeah.
going to be able to get on and show his angry face to us. But anyway, so I
So
get it. I get you have to wallow in it. And really and truly, people are in the right spot trying to be encouragers.
yeah, yeah.
For the
It's
most part, everybody's an encourager. There's a few
yeah.
dicks every now and then, but
And, I agree with you. I feel like people naturally want to be, positive, encouraging, and all that stuff. Things get in the way sometimes that make us jerks. Some of us, it is just down to the core, right? Like you can't
mhm.
help it. People are just going to be ugly. That's their whole life is that kind of
It's
thing.
their
But
MO. It's what they do.
yeah, yeah. But I do believe that on the majority, people do want to, people genuinely want to wish you well. They want well for themselves and things like that and whatnot. So
And you
it's fine.
want what you put out in the universe to get back to you. If you're a
Yeah,
nice, positive, uplifting person, you want that to you for you as well.
right. I feel like it's so easy to put some negativity out there and not like, that's one of the things I appreciate about Sunday. So, y'all, there are times when I'm like, man, I just need a friend. Like last week, I think it was right after the show, maybe even. I was like, I just need some friends because I felt like I was disconnected from people and I get my energy recharged with people. So I'm not like this introvert. My introvertedness, it's very small or diminished. But for me, when I'm not around people for a long period of time, I start feeling weak, sad, depressed. My energy
You're like
levels are low.
Superman. You need the sun he
Yes.
needs the sun to recharge and you need friends to recharge.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And so the first person I called was Sandy, and I was like, "Ah," and my doubting belief, I was like, no one's going to answer me because I need everyone right now or something. But she answered, and then for the next, I don't even know how long we talked, but she is making me laugh, and she is feeding that, and I am just like, yes, I am feeling the
And
charge
might
coming
I
from her.
add, I never let Jamie tell me anything of what he calls to tell me because I interrupt him
Right.
because I'm an interrupting cow. Jamie's like, Sandy got something to tell you. And I'm like, well, let me tell you first.
She does, and if I don't let her, she forgets, and
And we can't have
out
that.
of the two of us, she's more forgetful than I am, and I'm pretty
Very
forgetful.
forgetful.
So I'm like, you go ahead and go because there's a chance I'm gonna remember mine.
Do you know how forgetful I am? I went and got my massage yesterday. I forgot to pay. So she texted me at 9 o'clock and she's like, Sandy, I was just, I did forgot to pay. You forgot to pay. And I'm like,
uh,
how do I? That's so cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
That's
She's like,
funny.
"Listen,
I
you're
mean,
not the first. Don't worry about it." But I can't do that at Walmart. I can't walk out and not forget to pay.
yeah,
I
I know
get
what you
tackled
mean.
down.
I remember a few months back when my daughter was going through driver's ed, and this was probably the only time I've ever felt this way in life. I was at B Dubs and I was ready to pay, and I had already kind of flagged the pay, to go through it. Probably about 30 minutes before I needed to leave, just because it looked busy and whatnot. And so I was like, okay. And I told my daughter, I was like, I will pick you up. Don't worry. I gave her every assurance. It was getting close to when I needed to leave, and I still hadn't gotten my check or had seen my server, and he would not come to me. And when I flagged down the manager and the hostess, maybe or something, neither of them said, they both said the same thing. We can't close your checkout. We'll need to get your server. And I'm like, 30 minutes? Like, this is so weird. First time it's ever happened. I was like, I've
Anybody
never.
tell me where he is.
Yes. I was like, I need to go pick up I was under such duress because I was like, I need to keep my promise. Girl, I ended up writing an IOU. I went to the hostess stand and I told her, I'm like, look, I have never done this and I don't even want to do this now, but I am in dire need to pick up my daughter. I've been waiting 30 minutes to get my check. I hadn't even gotten my check yet. So I can pay and go take care of things here. I was like, 30 minutes. Who does that? I was like, anyway, here's my name. Here's my number. I am definitely walking my bill, but not on purpose. Well, not because,
I
you
mean,
know what I
you had a
mean.
purpose. You had to go get your kid.
Yes. And so I was like, I really felt like I was held hostage at a restaurant. How in the world? So anyway, yeah. So anyway, I go pick her up, go home. I even have time to take a nap. I get back up. And I called, but I couldn't get through. Then they called and I didn't recognize the number, so it went to voicemail. And then listened. I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing this. And so then I call back, finally pay it off. And I was just like, look, dude, I get y'all busy. And he even told me, he goes, you're not the first one who's called today with this. I was like, shut up. He was like, something
Somebody else
happened.
walked the table.
He said something happened between this window of time. He goes, I wasn't here.
You're like probably on like some neighborhood app. You know how they do like this guy, this video, tell us who he is.
Yeah. Find us, please. He just walked out on his
You're right
tab.
there on the next door app next to is this a coyote? I've never
Oh,
seen this
yeah.
before.
That was terrible. That was terrible. I was like, I have never been in a. I have been where I've had to wait for my check, but never where I've been between the rock and the hard place. Where I'm like, my daughter cannot just stay out there. She can't stay out
Yeah.
there. Like, so yeah. Anyhow,
I would be terrified. I'd have gone up there to leave without paying. I'd have gone up there and scanned my own card, pulled up my own check. I'd have Googled how to do it.
yeah, and then get called for the police, and then not be able to pick up our kids, and
Oh
whatever. And it's like, oh,
gosh.
great. Anyway, so that was it. But yeah,
Speaking of
I have
kids, are
to.
your kids dressing up for
I
Halloween?
don't know yet. We are
I
like
mean, we've
just
got
days.
5 days, 6 days.
Let me tell you what, Dr. Pineapple thought it. She asked me, she goes, I found these costumes for us. They'd be really cute. Do you want to dress up this year? And I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. I was like, but if you want to, I'm always like, whatever you want, babe. I'm always happy to serve you,
You're
right?
go with the flow kind of guy.
Well, I'm go with the flow as long as it serves my wife. Like she asked me to help her out this past weekend. She was like, you want to help me out with this, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, nope, I don't want to do any of that. Not at all. And she was like, you don't want to do it for me? And I was like, for you, yes. But if you just ask me to do this because they need help to set this up, I'll be on. No, I don't want to do it. I don't. I was like, but I will do anything to help you out.
Oh,
Yes.
that's nice. Yeah.
So I did it anyway, but you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
so she ended up saying, hey, I found these costumes. And she was like, it's a Mr. Potato Head and a Mrs. Potato Head. And I was like, oh, that's
Cute.
cute. Yeah. I was like, that's fun. I was like, sure, let's go for it. So then the box comes in, she opens it up, she goes, something's weird here. And then she puts on the costume, and it turns out it was a Mr. Potato Head or Mrs. Potato Head, meaning one costume where you actually put the pieces on to be either one. And so we're like, she was like, I swore it had two pictures and it made me think there were two costumes.
I would have done the same. I would have done
Yeah.
the same damn thing.
And so it ended up being too
Because
late to order.
I
So,
think Sean wants to be a skunk for Halloween.
oh, that's cute, John. You could be a
That's a cute
skunk.
costume. Post
Yeah, good
pictures
idea.
for it.
Good idea. Leaps, are you still here? I have to ask because I want to show off some comic books real quick. And since I
So,
have a fellow comic geek here, go
well,
ahead.
speaking of like different things to order, I mean, ordering things incorrectly. I was so excited on Prime Days. I ordered a vanity stool.
Okay, okay.
So,
My kids have those. Yep.
went and got one. I mean, not, I ordered it. It was shoved in my mailbox. I had to get assistance to get it out because it's one of those put together. It's like a
Yeah.
puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we move it around for a few days, and then finally I'm like, Eric, can you put my vanity stool together? He's like, yeah, I sure can do that. He's like, this is a really small box for a vanity stool. Well, I don't know. That's just the way it came. So he puts it together, sends me a picture. He's like, I think this is more like a footstool instead of a vanity stool. I was like, babe, I swear that the description said it was a footstool. I mean a vanity stool. I swear.
You're probably right. It was probably that. They probably just sent you that. It's like that time I ordered the laser engraver and I was like, man, this is a great laser engraver. It will make my ears feel
Oh,
very
you
warm.
got your earmuffs. So, I mean, mine
Freaking
at least was a stool. It wasn't a vanity, but it was a foot. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's that.
There's that.
Maybe
Yeah,
Leaps has left.
I think he did leave. So which oh, and that's what I was gonna say earlier. He was telling me he would love to watch us. He goes, there's a challenge though. He goes, if I watch you, I'm usually doing some work with the comic books. He goes, like packing them up and getting them all ready. He goes, but if I do that,
Mm.
then I just stop. He goes, then I just stop and watch. And Sandy's so funny. He goes, so I have to watch like replays. I was
Oh,
like,
I love it.
so I was like,
Well,
okay,
I
okay.
don't mind. I'm trying to go through here and delete what I've done, what I've read.
While you do
Because
that, I'm gonna
what
show
I
off my comic books in anyway.
okay. Well, Joanne, I sent Joanne the link. She's not here, so she
Okay,
definitely
so
before she pops in.
yeah. So I got this bad boy. Look how
Listen,
gorgeous that
listen.
looks.
I love that so much. It's a foil cover and it's a
Yes.
virgin,
Yes, Sandy,
and
look
I
at
love
you.
it. Look, Sean said, "Not me, Jamie. He wants you to be the skunk, not him."
Oh, me. No
Yes.
way. No way. I battled them. They won
I
sometimes.
love that is
This
just
is cool. So
that's
there was a
beautiful.
comic convention in New York last weekend.
Uh-huh.
This was a special comic from the convention only, so you could only get it there. People buy it and then they resell it, and that's what happens here. So that's what I got. I love it.
How
Look at
much
that.
is
It matched.
like so could
This
you
is
get another one for me?
this one.
Mhm.
You want? Okay, so let me ask you this. I'm gonna send you pictures later. I can get you another one, but let me. I'm gonna don't make a decision on this one yet because I want to show you
Okay.
the collection, and then you make a decision after
'Cause I
that.
loved all 3 that you shared with us today.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. So okay, yeah. So then here's the other one.
I know, it's
And
amazing.
I love so these are interesting covers that they do these for. I don't remember what they're I don't know if they have a specific name, but he's a Mexican artist and he does these where it shows Superman. He's done some Supergirl and Power Girl too, where
Is
they're
that
doing
red and
something.
black Superman logo?
So this one, it's a silver logo, but the sides are
Red
black
and
and the
black.
inside is red. So there's never been anything like this. Usually they have colors
No.
that denote something special for Superman. This is just a random color, so they usually do that for the conventions. But this guy, he makes these covers where he shows the heroes doing something heroic, and then you see the people that they're saving. Like there's one where Supergirl is stopping a car and she's got the little girl behind her and she's smiling at the little girl and grabbing her balloon because the little girl ran into the street.
Mm,
And so Supergirl's stopping the
puerca
car to
babosa.
wait till she gets her mom and gets that head smacked, right?
Right.
And so here's the other one that I
Oh
posted on my
my gosh.
Instagram reel. This one was
I
just
love those.
freaking gorgeous.
So so here's my idea. So
Tell me.
Eric has a wall in his man cave where I just kind of want to put yes, Anita. So you're reading my mind. I kind of want to put like different things on his wall. I
Uh-huh.
feel like that red and black one would be perfect because, Texas Tech. That's
Oh,
so that's kinda when I saw that one, that's kinda where my head went. So, yes, Anita, that's where I'm going. Oh, Mr. CA's on fire.
yeah, Comics Anonymous. So you can't. I don't know if you can. If these
Oh, I
come out
see
well
it.
for
I
you.
see that red and black back there. I see it.
So yeah. So there's a commemorative Death of Superman issue over there. There's a blue one foil which has lightning. That's Superman's son's comic. There's a commemorative white one. I have a purple one over there. I have a
Oh,
green
wow.
one. All kinds of colors. So that's what I'm saying. Before you decide, let me show you all the ones that are available out there so that you can
Mhm.
really make really see the choices that are out
Make
there.
an informed
Yeah,
decision.
and there's another one that came out. I can't wait to show that one off, Sandy. But they did the. Do you remember the original Superman movie poster?
Yes.
It's back in '78. So that one, someone did that one like these.
Okay,
I
hold
was like,
on.
sweet. But then they made a connecting cover. So behind the shield in the original movie poster, there's a red streak that denotes Superman, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Someone created a connecting cover that shows Superman and it connects on the top of it. And you actually see him and his cape. That's where basically where did the streak go? You
Mhm.
see him up there on the top part, and it is
Mm.
slick. Slick. I can't wait to show it off to you when I get it back.
So let me tell you what I'm doing. So one of my decorating projects is for our theater room, our basement,
Hmm.
where we have all of our stuff. So I messaged to my little family and I said, I need you to send me your favorite movie.
Okay.
And so they did. I got all three of them. And so what I did is I went and looked up the movie posters.
Hmm.
And so on my back wall, I'm going to have 4 movie posters that are all of my little family's favorites.
I can't wait to see that. That's gonna look so
I'm
dope.
so excited about it
Yeah. Yeah.
because Alex's was Interstellar.
Oh, I like that poster actually. Yes, and I love that movie. Out of this
Yeah,
world.
I don't know if I've ever watched it, but him and Cade love that one. Cade's
Hmm.
is Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Into the Spider Verse.
Yes, Into the Spider-Verse. Yes,
That's
that's
a
right.
great one. That's a great movie.
Okay, and so, mine's the old school Superman that has
Yes.
that what you're talking about, that the beam going up,
Uh huh.
and Eric's was between Ferris Bueller and Tommy Boy, and
Ferris
because
Bueller for me. That would be
and
that's
and
a
so
good.
because I love Ferris Bueller, so it's Ferris Bueller, so
Okay,
that's
good.
like yeah,
Those are great
so
posters. Those are gonna be
I
great
know, I'm so
posters.
excited about them. So I can't wait to
Yeah,
get those in. So they're all gonna come in sporadic because I ordered them from different locations, but yes.
that is fun. You'll make sure to take a picture
Mhm.
and show us when they get
Oh,
in, right?
I'm
Okay,
good about
good,
pictures and sharing. So
good.
anyway, I'm
Oh, and
super
one more
excited.
comic. I got one more comic here. This one. It's hard to tell because this artist they don't do well over the screen like this, but when you get it in hand, that's when it really.
I don't recognize
So
that
this
one
is
at all.
so
Is
I'm
it
a
an
big fan.
indie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Man, Sandy killing it.
I know.
She kills it. So
Sean, get out of
oh
here.
my
Like
gosh, those
we
are
allow
fighting
your
words.
angry faces,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
going
are
too
that
far
those are
now.
fighting
That's going
words,
too far. You
Sean.
need to watch out. So I like this one because it's unlimited. And so there's these little cards that they put. So you see the
Uh-huh.
number on the bottom.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah. So you
see
got
how it says
104 out of
limited to 200.
250?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So
That's
that's
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, this artist is one of my favorite artists that I've really been digging this year and last year. And so I've been on a hunt to find his art. His style is really just cool to me. I enjoy looking at it, and it brings me, I don't know, peace, and I just appreciate it. That's the thing with the comic books. I love thinking about the issues that I have and the covers that they are, and then I love looking at them because they just make me feel happy. Like honestly, they just make me feel happy.
Any luck on finding an album?
Not yet, but I haven't
Not
had
yet.
time to look. Yeah, so there's
Okay.
this conference going on this week, and I've been doing that and
Oh,
doing work, and
gotcha.
so yeah. But I was glad that Anita, you asked me what year it was from, and so I was like, ooh, at least I have a year I can start looking at. So I like that.
Anita said Sean wants to fight. He does. Anita, he wants me to say things about the Cowboys, and I don't want to because you're in here. Janae, welcome to the show,
Oh, ephemera
Janae.
girl. Oh my god. Okay, Sandy, I'm going to ask you a question. I did this practice with Janae. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
shouldn't have said that. I did this practice with a bunch of people today, okay? And it was something that I just thought was a nice visualization slash realization of some things, okay? I'm going to ask you this question, Sandy, and I want to just see how
Okay.
you answer. And everyone else at home, I want you to answer in the comments too.
Is it
There's
like
no
a
trick.
Rorschach test? I'm gonna come out like a
No,
pervert.
no. I just
Yeah,
created
it
this
looks
off
like
the
boobs.
pointy ones. Like, remember? That was a reference to Janae's show when she came on. Okay, that, not me being perverted. She had the or no, Sandy said it. Sandy said it. The book that she showed us. Remember the nudie book
Yes.
or whatever. So anyway, all right, everyone. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think. I'm going to ask you, what is your brand? When you hear me say that, what do you think, Sandy? When I say, what is your brand?
Like, I guess, like, something that would represent me?
Okay,
I mean,
I think
that's what
that's
I
cool.
think of.
That's fine. I think that's cool. Okay. So if you had to pick within arm's length of yourself, not a physical object, maybe
Okay.
more in mind, within
Okay.
arm's reach of yourself, what are the things that you all feel like if you had to pick something near you that you could just talk for hours about, or you could be considered an expert in,
Ah,
something that's just really you just feel passionate about, any of those things, what are those things near you that you could just pick up and roll with it? What is that for you, Sandy?
true crime shit.
No, that's true. That's a good one. I would have picked that one for you too. Yes. Do you have
Okay.
any other ones? Is there anything else
Um,
within your like that just kind of first nature? You're like, oh, I could.
traveling,
Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, you do good travels.
food.
Hmm. Yeah, she's in the Sandy. If y'all don't know, she's sugar free, dairy free, and gluten free. And even with that
So,
said, she definitely still knows how to eat.
update, I'm going okay, 'cause I've been gluten-free, never quit that, but we came back on dairy and we came back on sugar, but I'm having to go back off of it because of my thyroid stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, there's
Okay,
that, me being sad. Okay,
that's
hold
okay.
on.
All right.
Janae says, "Hearing this today, I have a different answer already. I think the pressure not on you changes this." Insightful.
Okay, I have to
I
remember
agree
that.
with that, yeah. There's a lot of pressure, like, I felt immediate pressure as soon as he asked me that. I'm like,
Sorry.
"Ooh."
Okay, you're the only one here. If Joe was here, I think the pressure would definitely feel less on you and stuff, right?
Yeah, 'cause I'd have
And
probably
this is
have
this. There's no
a little
secret
bit more
answer to this.
time.
There's no negative
Well, so what does that say
revelation.
about me? I ate
Wait,
bonbons while, watching true crime? No.
there's nothing wrong with that though. Like there, so from my perspective on the things that you've shared already, saying like there's no judgment. It's for me, it's fun hearing that because I'm like, yep, you know yourself well.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think. If you can answer the questions that I've asked so far, I feel like that. And this was not the intended consequence or revelation of that, but that should tell you you know yourself well. If you voice it to someone who's sitting next to you and you say, "Do you feel like I'm an expert in this? Do you feel like when you think of me, you think of these things?" Like for me, I was like cooking, baking, comic books, anime, public speaking, helping people.
Oh,
It
wow.
doesn't have to be limited, but I feel like all those things I could immediately
I
grab
feel like you
near
had
me and
time to
just
think
start.
about it.
Well, here's the thing is, no, I asked people the same time that I thought of the question, and
Okay.
I just thought, these are the things I can do.
You were able
Easy.
to rattle it off like that?
But I think, and I'll be honest, I could understand why not everyone can do that, but I think if since public speaking is my jam, I think my brain's always just thinking, what's the next topic, or what is the pool? Like the pool's always open to pick from.
Mm,
Remember, like the proverbial pot you were talking about earlier.
yes.
Like I've always got topics in that pot. I just got to switch out or find whatever answer the question is to that. So I think that's why for me, I feel like that's why it's easy. I can just figure something out there. But anyway, again, the idea with this, it's not a finished product, but or the first thing is being able to know yourself well. If you ask those people around you, do these things describe you? Great. That's great. That's wonderful. That means you know yourself well. And there's nothing wrong with knowing yourself well. Okay. So then but now I move this into the professional realm. Why I asked this? I was asking a room of people who were potential professionals in the cybersecurity realm. Okay, and I was like, okay, I wanted to encourage people to build their brand, like using LinkedIn specifically, because LinkedIn is a social media platform geared for professionals. And so I was telling people, I was like, because my belief is that whenever you're wanting to switch careers, networking is a super excellent
Yes.
component to do
Yes.
that, right? How many
Because
times have you
sometimes
heard?
it's
Go,
it's not what you know, it's who you know.
see, I love that freaking Sandy and us, because that's exactly what I was going to ask you, but I didn't need to because Sandy just knows,
I'm
man.
right there. I'm
That's
right
what
there. Because
that's what it
I've always
is.
told my kid, I'm like, network, network, network. And he's like,
Yes,
Mom,
right.
you know so many people. I'm like, that has just been like my thing is to always know people, to engage people, to learn about what it is that they do, because you never know when that might be beneficial for you. Not that I'm just saying know people to use them. I'm just saying know people
No,
to know
it's
people.
a known thing in that realm. Like, it's not about using people, but everyone knows you network because you don't know what your future is going to look like and where things can happen and who can help those
Yeah.
things.
Sandy knows
So
about insurance. I always turn to her when I have questions.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too. Um, uh, it- I like, so talking about this. Here's the thing: is like, so you having your own web show, Sandy. It's like, it's not like for people watching this, it's not like Sandy is learned an extra skill per se to be a host of a show. Like, I wouldn't say that about you, Sandy. I'd
Oh
say
gosh,
that.
I would. I would definitely say
Really?
that this was an extra skill for me because how hesitant was I to even do this with you guys? Like I was
Yes.
like,
Okay, but we saw the potential in you from the not even from the first guest appearance. Here was the thing here, and here's what I'm getting to is that the fact that there was an outlet to do what you were already who you already are. Like, that's all this is just the lens. Like, you're still you. You're not an actor on this
oh,
thing,
I would be
right?
a
You know what I'm saying?
horrible actor. No.
But you're not.
No.
That's my point is when we hit go live and all of you out there see us on your screens, you're watching us on your mobile phone or your laptop or your TV, whatever it is, then what you're seeing the window into who we really are. Like, I'm not acting here. Sandy's not acting. Like, and when we talk to each other, we probably cut up a little bit more than we do now just to keep it safe for audience per se kind of
Right,
thing.
right. See, this is
But
what I've always told everybody. And particularly, let me go back to like the workplace.
uh-huh.
What you see is what you get.
Yes.
So, in the dynamics of my work, I talk to you like I would talk to you in front of my husband, in front of my kids. There's like not a different, I don't have a switch. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't be a good actress because I couldn't, do all that. So this, and if you know me, you know that this is me. Like
Yeah.
everybody, Anita knows, But so I tell you that to tell you this: there are some people that do have a work persona and then a family life persona. Because if you
Mhm.
see this person out in a public setting with their family, they don't greet you the same way they would if they were at work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I am not a fan of that because if you talk to me all nice and everything while we're at work and then you act like you don't know me in public,
Mm,
I'm not talking to you at work. I don't do that. But there's a lot of male coworkers that
mhm.
didn't speak to me when they were in public with their wives. But I
Yeah,
would speak to them when I was in public with my husband. So I'm like, mm, no
yeah.
thanks.
That's
No
kinda
thanks.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel you on
So
that.
I don't know. I don't like shady people. What you see is what you get. I can't be any other way. We were talking about how people have like these double lives where they have like two sets of families,
Oh my
husbands
gosh,
and children.
yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, listen,
Fascinating. Sorry.
listen, it's fascinating because
I mean
I tell you what, I call my kids by my dogs' names, okay? So there was no freaking way that I could have a second
I'm
life
with you.
and not walk around and call
I
that husband this husband. I can't. My brain
I
does
don't
not have
get it.
that
Yeah, I
capacity.
can't, yeah.
No.
And then what happens when you have like a bad day with the other family and you need a vent, and the only person you feel like you can vent to is someone in your other family, or vice versa, when you're really excited about something that's happened in that family and you want to just share it with the world, you like
How do you shut that off? You're a
how?
freaking psycho. You're a psycho.
How?
But I'd love to have you on my show
I sure
if you
would
live
like
that
to
life.
interview you myself too.
I would like to interview. I have so many
I
questions. I
just
really
yes,
do.
like I would not be able to shut up, and it wouldn't be like minimum 2 hour more. I just would
Yeah.
be like, I once thought I met a sociopath, and my world was like,
Isn't
oh
it
my gosh,
fascinating?
yes.
So cool.
I was so sad when he told me that he loved his wife. I was like, dang it.
So I think I know somebody that lived a double life like that, but I can't.
And when Sandy
I've
gets her
just heard.
when Sandy gets her gumshoe on, she's like, okay, I'm gonna have to find out somehow.
Listen. Okay.
Okay,
Anyway, what
all
were
right,
we
sorry.
talking about?
Professional world. We're talking about developing your brand
Back to
and
you.
well, really just you guys, like just kind of, revealing things. And so, and Janae, you're gonna have to tell me later what is it you would answer it now today without all the pressure, because now I'm curious more. But anyway, focusing that back onto your professional world, like if you go onto LinkedIn and you start creating your brand, you talk about the things that you care about the most, right? And then you find a way to, when you have that same passion about those things, to put it behind the information that you want to own and work. So, for example, I'm in IT and I'm transitioning into cybersecurity, but my brand is like all the things that I've listed. And so I use the same passion that I have for those and figure out a way to kind of talk about cybersecurity stuff. And people tell me it works out okay. And so I hope that it is. And as long as they keep saying that it's they understand it, I feel like I'm doing good at it. And so I'll continue
Mhm.
to build on that, if that makes sense. So anyway, it was just something I was like, wanted to share that with y'all and let you know. I think the walk away with today was with everything was more like it's good to know yourself. If you pick those things that you felt confident about, take solace in the fact that you've got a good take on you, what you are, who
Yeah.
you are, and
Yeah.
that's good. If you ever doubt yourself, if you're ever feeling low about something, just remember it's like these are the things that you are and what you love. And so
You're like, "Call us, we'll make you feel lower." Not really. Just
might
kidding.
kick you down. I always tell people, I'm like,
My
if you ever have a heart attack and you're on the floor, I'm just gonna like kick you out of the way. If I can't move back in my seat, I'm just gonna kick you. I need to get work done.
I know, like, don't ever get sick in front of me, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
I
don't know how to
already I know
respond.
myself enough to be like, I could probably call 911.
See, and that's my thing. I would be like, you should. I think I know it all. So that's my default. Is like, well, let me tell you what you need to do right now, and then start. So step one,
So,
two, three.
I think I've told this story a while. I mean, it's been a while, but we used to work with a lady that had, oh gosh, anaphylactic,
Uh huh.
what's the word?
Shock.
So she could, like, Monday eat the salad, and then Tuesday eat the salad, and then she would be like, she would go into shock or whatever, anaphylactic shock, to
Yeah.
where we need to get her EpiPen. But then
Yes.
she tries to tell us one day, like, okay, so if that happens to me, and I can't breathe, you're gonna have to, like, cut a hole into me.
Ay, Dios, como que put a hole in
And
me.
I'm
No
like,
mames.
listen, bruh, listen, like, I'm gonna
You want?
call for some help, but I'm not gonna. She was like, get a ballpoint pen and just pull the insides out, and
¿Qué
just jab it through
vitaminas?
right here.
What do you think? Like,
And I'm like, look, girl, this ain't rescue
have your goodbye
911.
note written. I can give
Like,
that to your loved one. That's
yeah,
about
just let me
what I can
know.
do.
I'll probably, I might pray, or I'll just stand there staring at
Yeah.
you. I'm not really
Oh, give me the
sure.
password to your phone, and I'll call you, whoever,
Yeah,
wife, husband,
back in
loved
the day, it
ones.
was like you could probably use your thumb
Oh
and
yeah,
just,
yeah.
get your little code
The
that,
movies, though, I'm like the movies always show if I just show your face to the phone, it'll unlock. And so I don't
yeah,
take that off. Everyone, take that off.
gosh. So anyway, Jamie Anita said, I agree, Jamie. No, mom. I mean, that's what I was like. No, man.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna be like, you just go ahead and You just go ahead and do that there. I got you a pen. If you want to do it, you can do it. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Like we were at church one time and this girl like passed out and I just stared at her. Like I didn't
I
know
mean,
what to
if you can't
do.
help, you should stay out of the
I d-
way,
and that exactly. But then
right?
there's all these amazing people like I'm a nurse and they can come help and I'm like, see, that
If
is
you
the
need
why the
someone
good
to call
Lord.
someone, I can pray for you. If you want me to tell you what your brand is, I can probably do
Yeah.
that if I
Yeah.
know you.
But we don't resuscitate people.
Yeah.
I don't
Ballpoint. Who carries a ballpoint pen like that anyway? I don't.
do
I
they
carry a
even
pen, but
exist
I don't.
anymore?
Yeah, that's stuff in the movies.
You remember the Bic that
Never.
you would pull out the innards?
Yes,
And
yes.
and you know, probably while you're fumbling for it, I'd break a nail and then I'd be upset.
Right. And then yeah, world would be over at that point. It'd be
I'd
something
have to
completely
go
different.
schedule. I mean, there's it's just too much. Please never
Yep,
ask
yep.
me to save your life. I mean, I want to. Don't get me wrong. I would
Yeah,
love
yeah. I
to.
don't want you to die. That's
I
not
would
the
love
yeah.
to save your life. I just don't have
Yes.
it in me. I'm
I know
not
I'll
one of
make things
those.
worse,
Yeah.
but I could probably direct everyone. I'm good at that.
Probably
I could
like
probably
ink
tell people.
poisoning because I forgot to take part of the innard out.
You're like, you're supposed to take it out. You're like, I thought you said leave it in. They're like, the ink is falling in them now. Like, that makes
I'm
sense now that you said that to me, but beforehand, I just
no, in a panic, in a moment of
yeah,
panic, I used the lead to make the hole.
I just poisoned
Yes,
them.
I
I
know.
killed
Made
part of
it
their
worse.
brain.
Like it would have saved. They could have been alive still.
You should be thanking me now. That's what I would be like. You should be thanking me,
Honestly,
actually. You should be
honestly,
looking to see what kind of therapy I'm going to need now.
Sandy, just call 911 for me. I'll be good. You got it, friend.
See, I
You
like
got.
that. I like when that instruction comes clearly like that. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I'm okay.
Don't give me any other type of instruction.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
here's the deal. So Nancy will be like my coworker. She's like, Sandy, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the phone rings. And then they're like, May I speak with Nancy? And I'm like, uh, I think she's on the other line. Let me find her. I forget where Nancy went. I forget that Nancy told me she's gonna go to the restroom. I just this just my brain doesn't
It
work.
doesn't. Yeah, you're like,
Please,
this is
like
so
if you
far out
know
of my.
me, do not ever rely on me to do anything. Don't ask me to hold stuff for you. I'll lose it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Anyway, I'm
Um,
sorry. What were we
no,
talking
that's
about?
okay. No, 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 that's okay. Let's switch gears because I either have some Reddit stories we can talk about and laugh over or whatever, or
Yes,
you have a couple things too. You said
I
you've written down,
do. I
and I don't
do
want
have a
that list
couple of
getting
things.
bigger and bigger. And we don't we're not chipping away at it. So
Hold
I can
on.
do
Let's
either.
chip on this. Let's do my no mames. Okay. Because
Sounds
this
good.
was wild. Okay.
Okay.
That's only one no mames.
Okay.
Imagine that you're on vacation. Everybody picture it. You're on vacation. You're having a great time. And you return from your vacation to
Mhm.
find that your home's been demolished by mistake. No, no, mom.
Mistake.
Yes, yes. So the last thing that you
Oh
want to
my
do is
god.
go on vacation and then find out that your house has been demolished.
No
Susan,
mames pescuezos.
Susan came back to find her longtime Atlanta family property in rubble.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry,
She's
Susie.
like, I'm furious. I keep waking up. Is this a joke or something? I'm just in shock.
Her
Susan's
post-traumatic stress.
neighbor, yes, Susan's neighbor called her and she said, did you ask someone to demolish your home? And she's like, yes, it's been boarded up. We keep it boarded, but we cut our grass, the yard is clean, the taxes are paid. She said, we didn't hire anybody. The neighbor went over there to confront the worker. Look at this awesome neighbor. These are the neighbors you
Right?
need.
This
He
is
went
yeah.
over there to confront, and you know what the worker told her? The
What?
worker said, shut up and mind your business. And then she said, the homeowner sent me to come speak to you. And then the worker was like, oh, we're at the wrong address. And so anyway, he packs everything up and leaves. And that's it. She's unclear as to what's going to happen now.
Oh my god.
But I mean, let's just be positive. Susan's going to get her a brand new house. That's like,
I hope she didn't have animals in there.
So apparently it's like an old family home that they've had. They didn't like actively live there, but it's a family home that's been passed down from generation
Yeah.
to
Oh my
generation.
gosh. No mames for
Yeah.
real.
No mames, pinche demolished company. And then they say, oops, we're at the wrong address.
That reminds me of a video I watched last week where the police were at the house and they broke the door down, and then well, they didn't like break it down. They got someone
Mhm.
to locksmith it, right? But the
Okay,
locksmith
okay.
had to like do that weird thing where they punch a hole through the lock to get it.
Okay.
And so um and then the officer's going around the corner and then coming back, and he's like, wait a minute. He goes, and he's realizing that the address is the wrong address. That, like if it was, 1013, they they should have been at 1015 for the next house.
But
And
you hear about that all the time. I mean, it's it's super common. So please make your address placards a little bit bigger. Workers, double check your addresses. I mean, I would be absolutely devastated if someone demolished my house. I'm not even gonna lie.
okay, okay, I would be too. Like I wouldn't even. Like I would not know what to do for a bit. My mind would just be like, I don't even know
Yeah,
where
I'd be
to
like,
start
that
now.
lady, is this a joke?
Yeah, yeah. Oh god. Okay. I have this crazy story, but I need
Okay.
to ask you a question first.
Okay.
What is and this is involving a hotel room, work trip, and a coworker. You and the coworker sharing this hotel room. What would be the what would be the most out of bound things that your coworker would do that you felt like you had to address it with them before? Does that make sense at
So
all?
you know I had this situation, right? Do
What?
you recall this story?
Remind me.
So when I was at my previous company, they sent us for training for a week. And because they're cheap, they pair you up with random people that you've never even met.
Ridiculous.
Yes. So the lady that I got stuck with, she set her because we had to do like some memorization things. She set her alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeesh. Jeez.
And I'm not one to take being woken up very lightly.
Yeah.
And this bitch sat up and I am furious. She turns on the light. And when you're sleeping, any little light looks like a fucking halogen bulb. Like 1,000-watt bulb was on me, and I was getting madder and madder by the second.
Okay.
So then I'm tossing and turning, and I'm like, I'm just going to get up now. Because at this point, it's 5 o'clock, and this bee's over here just typing away because she's working hard on her memorization.
Sure. Yeah.
So I, at that moment, thought to myself, and this is why people murder. This is exactly why people murder. So I got up, I got dressed. She's like, oh, I'm going to go downstairs now. You should have fucking gone downstairs at 3 o'clock
At the beginning of it all.
at the beginning of it all. So then one of my friends is like, Sandy, are you okay? And I'm like, do not speak to me. And she was like, what happened? So I told him. And so she told my entire class, and they were like, oh, shit. Anyway, so this girl was like, um, because she was offended that was mad, she didn't room with me the rest of the week, which no sweat off my
No.
back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
not worried about you, but I was not
Ooh.
happy.
Okay. All right. Then I think
So
this
that was my
story may
situation.
resonate with you. Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. I had to go on a business trip recently to meet teams that work for our company, but in a different state. I was mortified to be told I had to share a room with a colleague, as I would prefer to have my own hotel. We're both in our early 30s, both men, so I suppose they figured it was reasonable. One thing I was afraid of and thought about a lot
That he snored.
before the trip, that's good, is that we all know most men will engage in forms of self-pleasure. I personally I
Surely you can hold that shit in.
I personally am not very sensual, and I'm not very interested in things pertaining to erotic conduct, but I have no judgment about it for what other people do. But I would find it extremely awkward and strange if my colleague were to do this in our shared hotel room, not to manage unprofessional. I became full of anxiety thinking of how awkward this would be. So what's my thought? When we go to the hotel room, I realized I had to say something. I had to say something, Sandy. I used a very friendly and relaxed tone and said something like, um, we all know people sometimes have certain needs and take care of those needs on their own. But what if we make it a rule that neither of us will do that in the hotel, especially if both of us are in the same room? I thought this seemed like a straightforward request, and I delivered it in a very practical,
Hold
friendly,
on.
non-confrontational tone.
So he, like, pre-warned him not to pleasure himself? Like, this guy hadn't pleasured himself and he didn't know that this guy. Okay. Okay, keep going.
Okay. I became astonished when he looked disgusted and said, "What exactly are you accusing me of?" I kind of clammed up because I didn't expect it to go this way. And I said something about, "Can we just agree to commit to this rule?" And he left the room. Now, before I continue the story, because there's only a couple more, two paragraphs left, but they're not long. What do you think so far?
I am blown away, seriously, at this request. Like, I you know what? That honestly, that never even dawned on me that my coworkers would ever even do that. Like, that wasn't even a thought. Like, I've never thought that.
I'm
Like,
a man, and I've been in hotel rooms, business trips, and church trips. Never, ever.
I mean, and I've had to stay in hotel rooms with different people at different things forever, and I never would have let that thought cross my mind. This guy's a jackass. I don't know what the heck he's been
Which one?
watching.
Which one?
The
Okay.
one that told the one that told the roommate not to pleasure himself.
Yes.
He's an idiot.
Yes.
He's a complete idiot. Oh
A
my god, go ahead.
complete okay, okay. So I agree with you, Sandy. Like, I think I have no problem with him having the thought and the anxiety, but the minute he comes across as saying, "Let's make this a rule," to someone who you've never met and you've or even if you have met, but you've never stayed with, that's the part, right? Like, if this guy has no character for being like that,
Like,
like, it's
no
not this.
history of you
Yes,
ever
no, his
hearing that?
nothing. You just, on your own anxiety and whatever, you felt that you had to address this.
No mames,
No, that's what
way.
this should have been. No mames,
That's
exactly.
a
All
no
right.
mames.
All right. So here's what goes down.
Okay.
Apparently, he told our boss that I accused him of wanting to masturbate around me. It felt very uncomfortable. I didn't mean to accuse anyone of anything. I was just trying to avoid awkwardness, not create it. The manager ended up getting the okay to pay for a separate room for my colleague and said, "We talk about this when we get home." The entire trip was awkward, and my colleague didn't talk to me once, and everyone else on the trip kept giving me weird looks. Now I see on Friday back home, I have a meeting with my manager and an HR person. That's probably not great. I told my friends about this, and they all seemed aghast and accused me of being weird and an a hole to my colleague. But I was just trying to avoid awkward situations. I feel bad I made him bad. I made him feel bad, but I don't see how I'm an a hole here. It seems like a simple misunderstanding.
No. No, there is no simple misunderstanding. Straight up dumbass. Like, There is no masking it. Now listen, if the guy was in the room and you heard macaroni noises, then totally, then totally get yourself another room. But and then have the talk with him or have the talk while you're hearing it. Like, hey, bro, like I'm in the room, don't be doing that shit. But no, you do not have a mm, baiting, you don't have a pre-baiting conversation.
Like,
No.
and Sandy, okay, I've stayed in hotel rooms with best friends kind of situation. And that has never even gone on there. And not to say that that's
We've
the
all stayed
expectation or
together.
exception.
All of us have
Yes,
stayed together.
we've all slept in the same room, been in couches, beds, floors,
Couches,
everything.
beds, floors. That was never a thought that said, "Hey, Jamie, please
Never.
don't do that tonight."
This guy is in his 30s, and me from
I want to know who the heck he's been staying with.
oh my gosh.
Like, how many of his friends do this in front of him?
Right. So, and he says in here, he's like, what does he say? He
Anita said,
goes,
"LOL, macaroni. I can't stop laughing."
um, he says one thing I was afraid of and thought about a lot before the trip. We all know most men will engage in forms of
No,
self-pleasure. I don't know that.
I have
I don't
never.
assume that. And
I've
if I
never
do,
in my life known anybody to do that, man or woman.
it, I, so, and here's the thing: I am not shaming anyone who self-pleasures themselves. That is not what I'm saying. But
No.
the idea of self-pleasure with a stranger, colleague, not a spouse in your or significant other in the room with you, kind of thing, like.
And in Pee Wee Herman's defense, he was in a theater. He
He was
wasn't
in
a
a movie theater.
pornographic
It was
theater.
a public,
It was a, I
thing.
mean,
So, but man, I read this and I
and if Pee Wee
thought,
Herman would have been your roommate, then I would have said like, "Hey, that is okay. I totally understand that.
right. There's some pre whatever
That is
to
valid.
that.
That's a
Yes,
valid
yes, I
reaction."
agree. But
Oh, he's
man,
an idiot. He's
so
probably
did
gonna
you think?
get fired.
So did you think when you started hearing this that you thought like, oh, I'm with this guy. He's about to tell us a horror story of
I thought he was gonna talk about snoring. I thought he was gonna have like, "Hey, here's a snooze strip," which would have been maybe, I don't, but
yeah,
I never thought that.
this guy postonto.
I mean, he's an idiot. Oh my
I would like
gosh.
to know the follow up if there ever was, so that I
If
could
there ever
see.
was a follow up.
Because
Oh my
he's the kind of guy who's
god.
going to come back. Can you believe they fired me? Be like,
He would
yeah,
be the one to be upset because he
yeah.
got fired for being an idiot.
All I
Oh
was doing was
god.
trying to pre-cut everything off of the past before it happened. Like,
Yeah. No.
but I'm
Like
glad that
you
the other
get
guy reported
like you
him.
get a preventative ass whooping for a child. Like I'm going to the store. Do
Don't.
not ask me for
I-
shit.
yeah, yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Right?
Another
Oh
meet
man,
like us meeting. Do not beat that meat in the hotel. That
dude.
no, sir. Do not
Anyway,
choke your
so
chicken here.
that yeah, I thought this is too funny slash too
That is
much. And
funny. That guy's an idiot.
yeah, so I hope if he survives from this, I hope he never makes that mistake again. I don't know how you're 30 in your 30s and you're having this conversation.
So here's the deal. Let's talk about this. Just one more thing.
Uh-huh.
What if he's a chronic baiter?
Maybe he is. Maybe that's
And he was just like
like a
putting
projecting.
projecting onto the that's what it is.
That's
That's
what
what
it
it
is.
is. It has to be.
He's like, I struggle with it, so I would appreciate if you didn't do it.
I
But I
listen.
would do it as soon as you were gone. He probably
Yeah.
did it after he left.
He's probably in the restroom after he warned him.
Shoot, he probably ordered a pizza. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Like that you go. I thought maybe ordered a cigarette or something. Okay, so let me do. I found one, and this is kind of controversial. This is a triggering
Oh,
post. Are you guys
wait,
ready?
is it because is it a gender reveal?
It's not that
Is
triggering.
it tipping? Oh, it's not that trigger. Okay,
It's
okay,
not
I can.
that
Okay,
triggering. Okay, are you ready?
yes.
Look at this. Anita said he asked. I've been dating my boyfriend for 8 months now. I am the type of woman who looks into dating tall, muscular, not mascular, mascular degenerative, no, muscular, and white or tan
Macular.
guys. God, who treats me nicely, gives me the attention I need, makes me feel safe around him. My boyfriend fits all these traits, or at least
Jeez.
I thought so. Almost a month ago, my boyfriend cried in front of me for the first time. The reason for this was because his mother had to get to the hospital urgently as she was feeling really sick. She's fine now, don't worry. I'm not saying it's not normal to cry when something bad happens to your loved ones, but seeing him break down and cry ruined the image I had of him. And I'll confess that this made me distance myself from him.
Excuse me.
My boyfriend realized that I'm acting cold with him and he's asked me numerous times if he did anything wrong. I still didn't confess to him. I really don't want this relationship to end. But if this feeling persists, I might have to open up to him and end things. Honestly, I don't know. So the question is, would you, and this is probably for the ladies, dump your man because he cried in front of you?
You know, okay.
Isn't that upsetting? Is it
It's
upsetting?
so you're right. It's so true that it's very triggering, Sandy. It's very triggering because I so the way she describes the crying, here's the way I look at it is like that type of cry, you cry that cry with your circle, right? So
Yeah.
you have a circle and not everyone gets in that circle, but those that do, like they get to know all of you, right?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
someone is breaking down like that, and I think that's a perfectly reasonable
It's
um
your mom.
it's your mom. And that you know now after everything's already done, but before you didn't know. You don't know what the story, you don't know what's going on. And especially if you're out of town, if you're out of state, you know what I mean? If there's any amount of
Yeah.
time it takes to get there, it's like, dear God, the anxiety and stress are enormous. So I get it. I get it. But
To say that
it ruins his
it ruined,
masculinity, his
oh
image.
my God. I
Like,
like that was triggering for me because I
yeah.
can't imagine. So in my lifetime, I've only ever seen my dad cry once.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's when we flew in to see his dad. And his
Mm,
dad was in his dying days. I saw my dad break down.
mm,
And man, that's the most vulnerable because like I've never seen my dad in that position. Did I
yeah.
think less of my dad because of that? No. If anything, it made him more human to me. And like, oh my dad does have feelings. Cause my dad,
What is
what is
that?
I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
That just popped up on. Did you
That
guys see that?
is super
That was so
weird.
random. It was like, who did that?
Who gave
Or
me a
do it
thumbs up?
again, whatever you
Thank you.
did.
Oh, no, all I did was like I was just using my hands.
You guys tell us if you saw that, please. I know it's like a 15-second delay or whatever, but did y'all see
That
the
was
thumbs up in the bubble? That was so cool. And you saw it too, Sandy?
yeah, no, I saw it. But it was just because I did my thumbs up.
So weird. That was so fun.
I wish we could do that again. Anyway, what were we
Oh,
talking about?
okay. We're so easily like entertained, y'all. So, um,
So anyway, I mean, what
I
do you guys
and,
think about that?
and I've seen some of these weird videos out there where there's people who are describing significant others of some kind and these weird images and whatnot of them, and it's just kind of like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? Like these are normal things. And let me say, I feel like in the past, your father, like that definitely describes lots of fathers of a certain age, right? And
People born in the 1940s.
I think I think that there is this, and it's tough to say because I think it's hard because I'm a big crybaby. Everyone knows I'm a big crybaby. I'm secure in that though. I don't feel when people say whatever. I don't feel. You know what I mean? You
anything,
can't,
and you
yeah, you
shouldn't.
can't beat me down for me owning that. I'm okay with that. I'm secure in that. Okay. But I think that
It's
there's
because you're in
just,
touch with your feelings.
yeah,
Is that what the
and
word is?
I'm
Yeah.
okay. Yes. And I may cry in front of everyone, but there are definitely people who I consider close where I feel okay letting it loose. And I feel like there are things that have happened. You know, I lost my father in November. Sandy, Joe, and their families were there, and mad love supported me through one of the tough times of my life. I didn't have a great relationship with my dad as a kid. I can't even say I have a great relationship. My dad would beat the living daylights out of me, and I don't mean beat like give me a whooping. I mean, if I
Yeah.
pet a cat, like my lights were out with a
Yeah.
fist. It's just the way he was. And it didn't, I'm not excusing him. I did not like the man. But as an adult, I forgave him. That was through the power of Christ only. That forgiveness was there, and we had a relationship, and it got better and better and better. And as an adult, and you know, I lost my son, and it was my father who sat right next to me at my son's funeral. I never, and I have that image in my brain, you know what I mean, in my memory, it's
Yeah.
burned there. And as sad as
It's a
that
core
was,
memory.
yes, yes, it's a core memory. As sad as that was, as horrible as my father was to me as a child, I look at that, and the feelings that I get from that are much greater than all the other negative feelings that I've had
And that's
in my
beautiful that you
mind.
were able to replace that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so I think, you know, I get that that generation had that kind of whatever. You know what I mean?
Issue. I call it an issue.
Okay, issue. I am okay with men and women of today, of any age, crying for whatever. I think it's therapeutic. I think it can be cathartic. I think it's very healthy. I think you know, there's a lot of scientific things that go with when you cry. There's so many hormones and things, and not bad ways. There's just so many things that are relieving, and your brain process that crying as kind of like how you move things from short-term memory to long-term memory. It helps process certain emotions to allow the healing to happen. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that everyone needs to cry, and it doesn't mean that anyone who doesn't cry is not in touch with their feelings either. It doesn't mean that,
Right. We
but
just
you should
all
not look
feel on a
down.
different level, and you shouldn't say that you see someone in a different light. They'll just because like they were perfect and then they cried in front of you. I feel like that's very
Shallow
selfish,
or selfish.
shallow. There's some sort of like
Yeah. Like your
issue
view on
there.
humanity is not, I don't know. Like
I would hope you'd be like, don't cry in front of me. You cry ugly. Don't be an ugly crier. Oh my god.
I'd be like, never mind. I can't say
I
that.
know. I'd be like, ooh, you're a
Yeah.
little ugly when you cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, well, you just born ugly. I don't, what's your excuse?
I
I cried to
mean,
look ugly. What's yours? Like,
right, right.
you know?
Oh gosh, I that when I read that, I was like, that's pretty disappointing.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen Eric cry in front of me. Now, so if you had probably like because I've seen these videos before, these on narciss. Sometimes I get stuck on narcissist TikTok. Like if you like just attempted to beat me up and
What
then
is
you're
that? What is
on
narcissistic
your
TikTok?
hold on. If
Okay.
you like attempted to beat me up and then you're like
Uh-huh.
on your knees begging and crying, like I'm gonna hurt myself because you're gonna leave me, and you're crying, I'm gonna laugh, and then I'll probably get myself killed. I'm sure of it. But if that kind of crying, like yeah, no, we're done. Because
Right,
when he
right.
like tries to gaslight her, first he's all like, "Oh, you piece of shit," and then she tries to leave, and then he's like, "No, but I love you, and you're my everything," and then he's just like, "Oh," and then you're crying like, oh, "Okay, no mames, güey."
No mames. Pescuezo.
No mames, pescozo. But
I'm gonna tell you, Anita,
anyway.
because Anita's watching and John's watching and whoever else. I just want to let y'all know. I say Pescuezo because I had a friend long time ago, and we would say he had a friend, and
Sean
he
said,
came
hell
around,
no.
and we would call him no Pescuezo because he had no neck, because he was just, he was a really built kind of guy, just
He's a
giant.
big boy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so his nickname was No Pescuezo. But people, whenever we would get into a rowdy mood, and this is me back when I was little, mean, ugly Jamie, whatever. And so we would swap out curse words for Pescuezo just so we could say it, because it just sounds like a curse word sometimes. And so we'd be like Pescuezo.
So
No, that's enough.
my swap when I was growing up, because my parents would never let me cuss, is
Uh-huh.
you know when you say vete a chingar a tu madre, like go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So I would say que se vayan a Chihuahua a un baile. And my mom knew what I was saying, and I'm like,
You're like, I'm not cursing.
but I didn't cuss, so you can't
Yeah.
get mad at me.
Where did you come up with that one?
Oh, who knows? I'm sure I heard it somewhere because it rhymes. It's
It
like
does
so
rhyme.
close, so
I do
close.
love how Spanish words that rhyme and make up these phrases that are really fun. I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's so cool, you know? Um, anyway, so I guess we're gonna end because Sandy needs to rest. And I was letting it go on as long as you wanted, Sandy, because I didn't want to.
Sorry, and then I started yawning. I was like I was doing all the good.
Well, and that's the thing is you were just going on though, like in a good way. So it's one of those where it's like I'm tired, but I'm really having fun too. But I'm tired.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
I'm okay right now. I'm okay.
and so
We can probably finish up. I'm good.
okay. That way you
Oh,
can.
Anita said, Jamie, I was wondering why you said that. He's always said that. It was like the
Yeah,
randomest thing, like no pescueza. And then he'll
I
like
know it
message
means
in this.
neck. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know it just it's like I don't know if I've ever told you about the Wiener Schnitzel up here, right? There's only one Wiener Schnitzel within 400 miles in any direction. And I go there and people tell me they're like, Wiener Schnitzel isn't even good. And I'm like, I know. I don't go to Wiener Schnitzel because the hot dog is good. I go there because when I go there, it reminds me of home and everything back in Lubbock
I mean, I
is
like their
cool to
chili
me.
cheese fries.
You love their chili cheese fries, chili cheese dogs, chili cheese
I can't have anything.
burgers.
I can't have anything else there, so I just eat their chili cheese fries. I haven't in a long time, but I do like their chili cheese
They
fries.
don't even have. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say you can't even have their vegan dogs, but they still put the
It's
bread
the
on them.
bun. Yeah,
It's
it's
the
the
bun.
bun.
Yeah, you should go and order it next time, Sandy, and be like, I brought my own bun.
I could.
Let's see what
Could you toast
happens.
my bun? Can you imagine me
Please, yes.
toasting it?
You're like, we don't toast, but we make them sweaty.
Could you sweat my buns? They're gonna be like, no, my miss.
Look, okay. Before we go, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just drag on as long as I can. I just want to know real quick. Is there? Is there anything new in Lubbock? Someone who misses home a lot. Like, is there anything you can tell me about? Like new restaurant? Because I love the food, and I know you like the food. Are there any new restaurants you've been to recently, and anything worth writing home about?
I went to a new restaurant. It's called the Great American. Very pricey, very highfalutin. It's over on southwest side of town. And it wasn't anything to really write home about.
When
They
was the
tried
last
to
thing you
make it
had?
gourmet,
Like
you
what? Like a
know.
hamburger, making fried chicken strips, a
No,
gourmet?
it was tacos. It was like halibut tacos or something. And they
Oh,
were good, don't get me wrong, but it
just not
wasn't like
price
it
worthy.
well, I mean, it wasn't like I could have I mean, I definitely had better halibut here than I did in Alaska. All of Alaska's food sucked, if y'all remember that.
What? I, I don't even know you went to Alaska, Sandy.
I don't know if you did or not. I wasn't sure. I'm trying to
Oh,
I can't think of anything new. Anita, can you think of anything new that's opened?
I'm always a sucker. I hate this, but I'm always a sucker for like a cinnamon roll and a chocolate
Oh,
chip cookie.
listen.
What?
So one guy from Italy
I
and
remember
are
them.
is
Yeah.
they're having some issues because I think they like separated and broke off. So now Papa V and one guy from Italy, like they're like now kind of having some legal
They
battles.
got some beef.
They do have some beef, but I heard Papa V's was really good.
So
So
this was the place that had the one on 50th in like Indiana or Quaker or
yeah,
something
it's
like that, right?
still
And
there,
then the
50th
other
and
one that was
Quaker.
in downtown Lubbock, right?
Well, fourth over by Tech. I don't
Yes.
know if that one's still
Yeah.
operational. I
Yeah,
can't
that's been a
remember.
long time. I don't know if it would be too. Gosh, I remember their pizza and their.
Their calzones were legit. Of course, I haven't had any in 100 years,
My
so
mouth is starting to water. I love this, man. This makes me. I love that you mentioned it because now I'm like remembering flavors and I can remember trips that I've taken there. And
and
that
they're
place was
big
so
o
weird.
calzones. So,
Yes.
several years ago, someone came in and robbed the one on 50th in Indiana and ended
Wow.
up shooting like one of their bus boys, one of their servers.
No,
Yeah, and shot and killed them there at that
that's
location on 50th and Indiana. Oh, it
terrible.
was horrible. Horrible. Oh, Anita said across from Tech, it's still open.
Okay.
Anita still hasn't dropped that name of that restaurant that said the tips was for the owners. Do you remember
Oh
that? We
my
were just like,
gosh, yes. I talked about that for a while last week. I talked about that for a while. I was like, good Lord.
Yeah, the whole tipping thing. So I've got a red flags for you. Tell
Okay,
me
good.
if this is red flags, okay? My boyfriend doesn't want to make us public on social media because the fallout. He's met all my important people in my life and soon my kids. I haven't met his roommate, that is his ex girlfriend's daughter, or his dogs.
Wait.
Red,
His roommate is his
his roommate is
ex-girlfriend's
his ex
daughter?
girlfriend's daughter. Red flags or no?
I'm so stupefied right now because I
Look, Chon said divorce court. They hadn't even made it that far, Chon.
he comes he gets some gold in there
He
sometimes,
does.
John.
Every
He
now and
really
then he throws
does.
some gold.
It's a
Usually it's,
good one.
yeah, most of it's fool's gold, but then there's some gold.
I don't know what to say about that. Okay, like I felt I was engaged with it, and then when you said his ex-girlfriend's daughter's his
Why do you think
roommate,
that
I'm
that
like,
triggered me? Why do you think I'm like, oh, we're talking about this?
what in the world? Like, what world is it okay to that's an okay thing? Like, let's just be logistical about this. At some point, you're running into your ex-girlfriend, wife, whatever, at
It's his
bare minimum,
ex-girlfriend. It
ex-girlfriend.
was his ex-girlfriend.
Why would you? Why like you can't spin that anyway. You
No.
can't spin that. Like, there's no reason for you to be living with your ex-girlfriend's daughter.
And two, women are so, not all women, but women are so, everything is so important on social media. Like parade me, show me, like,
Yeah. So
let's
the
take some
overlying
emphasis off of
topic,
that.
yeah.
But why are you introducing this man that you're just dating to everybody? Like y'all need to
So I feel like it's an onion, right?
slow, like
Like there's layers to who you get to be introduced to at different times. It
yes.
shouldn't be all at once, right? And especially when kids are involved. I definitely believe
Yeah.
that if you got kids
Luckily,
involved,
she did say, and soon my kids, but you're already,
yeah,
if
but you've
you're
already
already wondering if it's a red flag situation, but you're still thinking, I'm going to introduce him to my kids, you've got problems, bro. The restaurant was called Rangel's. I passed by there the other day. It was closed down. Oh, well, I wonder why. Freaking owners wanted to be tipped.
freaking disgusting behavior. I swear to gosh, that
Yeah.
makes me so sick. It
I'm
makes me
glad they're
so
closed.
sick. Okay. I'm just anyway, that's so triggering. I think we may have
Yeah.
just found number 6 of things that I hate in this world. That may be number
Rangel's.
6.
I mean, they're closed.
No, tipping for the management, tipping that goes to the management or
Yeah.
owners or anyone but the
That's a
servers.
new one. That's a whole new one to me.
Yeah, yeah. Gross. Anyway, I think like I don't know, like I think your friend, okay, like let's just say I was dating. I could see me telling Sandy. Sandy's a good friend. I like Sandy. I trust Sandy. So I'd be like, yeah, here's going on. I wouldn't introduce her to my mom right off the bat. I wouldn't introduce her to the kids. I wouldn't introduce her to the church. Yeah, you know what I mean? I might be like Sandy and Joe. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even show the audience yet. It reminds me of, remember a kid? You remember how they would call the girlfriends and wives and all that? They would have funny names for all of them.
Yes.
And so they wouldn't introduce them to the show so
But
that way
you
they
and I
wouldn't get
also know some people that have introduced us to their people, and then we're like, "Oh my god, that's so
uh,
awesome." And then
I'm
then
so
then
happy
they
for you.
I know. And then they break up and you're like, "Oh, never saw that coming."
Didn't know that was gonna happen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah, so I get
anyway,
but okay. So yes, the general stuff, definitely red flags when you're introducing them to everyone, but you reserve someone from them. But that piece right there, that is just
just
bizarre to me.
my thing is if you're already having issues, doubt in your mind, do not keep with the
Yeah,
introductions.
stop it. Stop that.
Just
It's like
stop.
it's like the baby thing, right? I remember when we first got pregnant, I thought, yeah, I wanted to tell the world, and I'm glad I didn't, but the wisdom in not definitely helps out, right? Like
And I'm just gonna put that out there. I feel like he's probably sleeping with the girlfriend's daughter.
I think we were all thinking that, to be honest.
I mean, just putting it out
So
there.
weird. And yeah. And, that drives another weird point to me is when I see people or hear of people who don't want to broadcast their dating relationship.
And I respect
I,
that.
I do too. I do too. But I'm like, but if you've made it, if you're open about it in certain places, but not every place, I'm like, I don't understand that part. And
Well,
maybe
here's
I
the
have a
deal.
harsh like a 0 or 1, you know what I mean? Like it's everyone or no one. And maybe there is a happy medium that I just don't understand completely.
So it's like everybody that watches the show
Mhm.
knows that I no longer live where I did, but I haven't announced it on Facebook yet. There's still a lot of people that don't know that. So there's certain things that are on a need to know basis. You know what I'm
That
saying?
makes sense. I feel you. I
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like parts can be private to certain people. But let me tell you this, once you put on social media that you're together, and I'm over here liking your post and hearting your little pictures, and then
Mhm.
you all of a sudden stop and you post a picture of your dog and there's no more couple. You need to tell me what happened, because I know that there's trouble in paradise when you stop posting pictures of your loved one and you're
Oh, yeah,
posting all these
yeah,
little cliche posts like, if he
yeah.
wanted to, he would.
Freaking
When you're
Zaddy,
posting shit like that.
he's like, "I wanna know the story.
I
Where's
because
the
I've
body?
al 'cause
Where's
I've
the
already
body?"
invested lots of time in liking your
I
tacky little
know, the
pictures.
rudeness of them.
It's
I
super
I
rude.
hear you on that, like, no one thinks about us, like, we spend so much time scrolling and doing that jazz, like
And seeing your pictures, we're tired of the same old damn selfies. Like, when we get
right.
tired. And then you break up and then you don't even tell us what's happening.
It's like a bad story that didn't give us an ending of that
Yeah, it's
character
a
arc.
novela
It's bad. Quit
that
thinking about yourselves. Think about us
yeah.
for a
Think
minute,
about
okay?
how I feel. Just
Yes.
left me hanging.
Sandy cannot be left hanging. Be more
Rudes.
thoughtful, y'all. Ugh.
Rudes.
No mames, no pescuezos.
Yeah. No mames pescuezos. So,
Oh, so
one more story
oh, yes,
that
I'm all
I
for it. I
witnessed,
love your
okay?
stories. So, yes.
So, I went to purchase a bag of ice. And so the closest one to me is also because I didn't want to go to the convenience store. Is
Mhm.
also it's called twice the ice. So then you can get water on one side and you can get a bag of ice on the
Oh,
other
I like
side,
those
right?
machines. Okay, yes, yes, yes.
Super cool. Just put in there, put your credit card, blah, 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 and you're
Out
off.
comes
Off
the
you go.
ice. It's like, "Sweet."
So there was another card. I was crap. I hope they're not getting ice. They're gonna take up my time. Nope. It was a lady filling up her 5-gallon jugs.
Jeez.
And because I'm nosy, I look over there and there's a guy sitting in the car. But old girl is struggling to get those 5-gallon jugs in her car. And I see old boy just looking out. He's just thrown back, just watching her. And I thought, you mother trucker. Like,
I
you no good. But you know what? You know what else I thought? It's
what?
all your fault, girl. Because I
Mm,
would have said, get your fucking ass out here. Because that's the boy.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
choosing to date this boy.
yeah,
You allowed this boy to pet your privates, but he can't even get out and carry this 5-gallon jug. No,
uh-huh.
no respect for you, ma'am. You know what? You deserve to be putting those in there by yourself.
I remember when Dr. Pineapples, like when we would swap cars at the beginning when we dated, and I hate to admit it, but I would not fill up the tank. I just was the just whatever the reasons were, and I was definitely in the wrong. And I wish, and I don't know if it was just because having a Mexican mom kind of thing, and just, coddling the boys, if that makes sense, or
Latino
not really
moms do that.
training us. You know what I mean? Not really training us. Um, I didn't have my dad there, but I don't know if he would have done it. I feel like maybe he would have, but either way, I was grateful when Dr. Pineapples kind of corrected me on that or taught me on that, right? And tell me what it made her feel. Because I remember when it would happen and I never think anything of it. And then she shared with me, and I was like, okay, okay,
See, and for
and
me, I felt like I was born with that knowledge. Like if I borrow something of yours, I'm gonna return it better than
better than
what
what you
I
gave it.
when you
Yes,
gave it to me. Whether
yes.
that means I'm gonna fill it all the way up, even though yours was only a quarter of the way.
Hmm.
I'm gonna maybe take it to the car wash or something.
Pick up some of the trash in there.
Definitely make sure I don't scratch it, park a little bit further away from
Hmm.
everybody else.
Hmm.
Like, you know, oh, Sean would like to let you know that you're an ass for that. And I'm
Thank you,
so
John.
glad
Where
that
would I
he
be
can,
without you? I
I'm
appreciate
so glad that he was here to tell you that. But yeah, so like our things, and in the same vein, going back to this young lady,
it. Uh-huh.
um, when my mom got home with groceries, no one said, "Come and help me." We
Right.
automatically got our butts out
Okay.
to get
Okay.
up and help.
So
If we saw my mom carrying something heavy, we just knew.
yes.
So that's
Yes.
something that I've had to instill in my children. Like if you see me, like if you know that I'm coming home from the grocery store, the garage better be open and you better be waiting for me. Like,
Right. You better be offering up some assistance
mhm.
somewhere. Like if I'm doing, and I agree with that. So in this instance, like I don't know that I could have just been sitting chilling out, not unless there was a medical reason of some kind. That would be the one thing, right? There was some medical
And even
reason that
then,
prohibited me.
stand your ass outside. Be
Right.
moral
Keep me in it.
support.
Yes, 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 yes. So I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't get a free pass. He doesn't get a free pass.
Like,
He
unless
doesn't
I
get a
saw
free
that it was
pass.
like a wheelchair access van, which it wasn't. It was a car.
Maybe that would be one. But under normal circumstances, I would guess I would say under normal circumstances, yeah, you got to be out there, bruh. You got to be
Yeah.
out there, bruh. Come on, come on.
But
But,
women,
but I
know
get
your
what you're saying
worth.
too,
Know
Sandy.
your
Yeah,
worth, women.
yeah. And that's one of the things I do try to teach my kids is that it's like what we tell them. So, Dekisa and I will, there'll be things like the girls. It's so funny. I don't mind doing things for my wife. I think I've made it clear. Like I'm okay serving and pleasing my wife. That is no issue for me, right? I prefer that. She's the only woman that I want to do things for like that. Um, and it's so funny because she'll do things like put the trash out there, like next at the door or something like that. If she's in a client, right, or whatever, and the girls will be like, "Ma, why aren't you doing it? Why are you making Dad do it?" And she'll be like, "Well, because he's the man." And then they're like, "Yeah, but you can do it too. You're not. Dad's not incapable. You're not incapable. I mean, you're not incapable of doing it." And I'm all like, What are you? What's going on?" And they're like, and we. It's hard to find this balance with them where they're like that. But I tell them, I'm like, no. I said, just in case I hear what you're saying, kid. I said, but let me make sure I just make this clear. I want to make sure that you're empowered to do everything you possibly can on your own. Yes. But if there's someone who likes you, they should definitely be doing what they can to serve you. And if a man is around, a man should be able to handle some of these things. I have no problem taking out the trash for mom. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I don't mind that she expects me to do that. I'm okay with that. There are certain expectations we have for each other, and it's okay. And the kids, though, and they're trying to think, but they're looking at the equality and all this stuff, and I get it too. And I tell them, I understand that. I was like, you don't understand not being in a relationship, the things that are expected out of each other and things that make each other just feel good. And for mommy and daddy, some of these expectations are okay for us. And if you find someone who likes you and you like them, if it's an expectation that you don't want or you don't like or they don't like, just make sure they do it when they're around, when I'm around, because I won't like it then. Okay, so what y'all do on your own is fine, but when I'm around, he better be taking out the trash. He better be asking me for help on this. He better be help everything that I would expect you girls to do, but he would do it first before y'all. So
Right.
something like that. So I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And I do think it's okay for a woman to do things, but I do believe that when a man's around,
And vice versa. It's totally okay for boys to do laundry because and to mop and to my kids are gonna leave my house knowing this. That they apply it is a totally different story.
right, right.
But, we kinda had this conversation at dinner. We were talking about how, I've always worked. I don't know that I could ever be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe I
Mm,
should have stayed at home with the boys whenever they were little, but we just couldn't afford to
right.
to
Yeah.
have me stay at home. And so I was just talking to Kate about it and I said, I like the idea of me having being self-sufficient. And Kate was like, I feel like that's kind of like a feminist trait. And I said, I think for me, it's more like a trauma response. I said, because I ended up in a
Mm,
situation where I was left alone
you yeah.
to fend for myself and my
Mhm.
child with absolutely no help.
No help.
And I'm grateful that my parents taught me how to work, that I know how to
You
live
were
on my own.
resourceful on your own.
Yeah, it should and I said, "Should this ever arise," again, I don't anticipate it, but I can support myself. And I'm not will have and I won't have to worry about, who's gonna provide for me and my children.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
he's like, "Oh,
mhm.
okay, that makes sense." He's like, "That I understand that now."
It's funny when the kids think like that, Sunny, like, because one of my things would be like, do you and it's not casting shade on the kid or anything like that, but I'm like, like when he says that, when he's looking at that, it's like, do you see that? Like, if it was my girl's similar situation and like that, it would be like, do you see daddy as being a feminist? I don't know what maleist.
A
I don't know
male
what.
toxicity.
Yeah, like, do you see dad being like that? Not that it's a bad thing. I'm just asking you because that question
Mhm,
to me would seem out of place and out of character for me, right? And then it'd just be like,
mhm.
I'm just curious, what do you see then? Kind of in the same way for it's like, well, then, what else does he see where he thinks is mom being feminist in these things, or whatever the terms may
Mhm.
be, and is like, does that match up with what you know about your mom?
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
think
mean?
he was just kind of wondering why I had that mentality. Like, and I said, it's not about, I'm better than dad or, I can
Mm,
anything dad can do, I can do better. It's not like that type of mentality. My
yeah,
thing is I was taught to be an independent person. I was taught to be, I said, and plus dad was gone, with his deployments and stuff.
yeah.
Like I didn't have, we,
Not in spite of him, but just the
right.
reality of the situation was.
We were we had to fend for ourselves,
Yeah.
not like fend, but I mean, I wanted to keep a job to keep my sanity. There's just so many things to it. And
Yeah,
one, I can't sit still long enough to, not have a job.
right.
So
I
I feel
always
like
wonder
I'd go
what stay-at-home
crazy.
moms do after the kids end up going to school. I'm like, "You got all this extra free time now.
I know.
You
I
still sit
I always
home?"
think that my house would be epic, that I'd have all these recipes, that I'd be at the gym, but I don't
I think my house would be smelling good. You'd be smelling all kinds of stuff. You'd be like,
I mean, you would be
"Man."
perfecting things, I get it.
Yes. My neighbors would be all mad. They'd be all getting plump and juicy. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't eat all this at home, but I need to keep baking to get the right thing going, or whatever."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I do fear when the girl actually I fear a little bit when the girls leave for college and stuff, right? Because I'll be sad that they're not here and that I just don't hear the noises that the kids make. But I'm like, I can finally my wife and I can finally buy the good couches that we've always wanted. I can buy the good knives that I've always wanted. I can buy the good
Without fearing that they'll end up in
cookware.
the trash can.
Yes, Sandy, or scraped or whatever. It's like we can
Like your
actually
good
have
pot.
nice things and and the
I
house
hear
will be
you.
clean and the house will
I
be
hear
clean.
you. But
I'll
anyway,
miss the
okay, we
voices.
gotta go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you for hanging out with us. I'm glad we got to entertain y'all for a little bit. Next week after we come back, it'll be the day after Halloween. So make sure you come and bring all your candy stories.
Right.
And we'll bring some more no mama stories for you, okay?
Yes. No
Let me find
mames.
the outro.
Don't be mamando out there. Don't be mamando en la vida.
No me mandos. No me
No,
mandes.
no, no. Don't say it. Don't do it.
Okay, here we go. All right, everyone.
Good
Love
night,
y'all. Good
everybody.
night,
Enjoyed it.
everyone.
Bye.